Hey guys, it's your bro Dono again, and today we're going to be looking at this gun I made. It uses similar parts, actually the same parts, from my 1-inch bore gun that I made earlier, except as you can see, this is not a 1-inch barrel, but only a 1 centimeter barrel, shooting 40 cal or 1 centimeter ball bearings, right? These slip easily inside the tube, and I would like it a bit tighter, but hey, it's what you get, when you use standard ball bearings. So, the way this is pressurized with the bike pump, or a little, compressor, and then we'll just hook that on right there. It's very loose fit. In fact, if I even just move this around too much, sometimes this will come off. Of course, it'll leak all the pressure with it. This is the solenoid valve, and it is powered by a battery pack with 8 AA batteries. So that's 12 volts of power going to a 12-volt solenoid valve. And this little button right here, you can hear open and close the solenoid valve. So we can go ahead and shoot it. So let's pressurize it first. And of course you see it's not being pressurized. The reason why is this valve right here. This valve is open. And this is why it's necessary to have this valve. So we need to close it, right? And then we can pressurize it. And then it'll pressurize this small little tank right here. Oh gosh, we just lost pressure. Okay. Again, this is what I'm talking about. It's a little cheap little compressor, but if we do that, maybe it'll work better. Okay. Let's go ahead and focus in on that. Of course, let's make sure it doesn't fall off this time. Okay. So yeah, this thing goes up to 150 psi. So we'll just let that go up to 150 psi. And now what we can do is we can just open this valve. Hear that little pop. So that's this solenoid valve closing. So now it is probably half of. Yep, it's about half of 150 psi. So because it's filling that chamber and that chamber. So then we can go ahead and pressurize it more. Up to 150 psi. Make sure that's closed. Don't want it opening again. We can go ahead and load a little ball bearing into the barrel. And now it's at 150, about 150 psi. It's ready to fire. So we're just going to be shooting the styrofoam box from like some airplane I had. So you can see there's a couple of bullet holes in there, just a couple. So we'll go ahead and shoot that. You can see what it does. So it looks like it even it actually knocked a bit off this structural support right there. So yeah, I mean this does some damage. So of course I don't think it would be adequate for hunting or anything, but I mean it's definitely not something you want to shoot your friend with, because it will probably penetrate skin. I don't know that for sure. I don't wish to test that either. Well, I mean, if I had some ballistic gelatin or something like that, that would be great. But so let's close the valve again, pressurize it, or I guess we have to turn it on again. And I'll pressurize it up to 150 psi. We can go ahead and open the valve, let this whole thing pressurize. We can go ahead and load another bullet in. And get ready to fire. We can fire another shot. And so this thing has a fire rate of about only 4 bullets per second. Now, of course, that rate can be increased by shooting it in different methods. So let's go ahead and get 3 ball bearings up here. So it works pretty much the same way. So we're just going to pressurize this tank. Of course, we have to close the valve. Let's close the valve. Pressurize it. Let that go up to 150 psi. I'm going to open it. Well, I guess I could have opened it earlier. Pressurize it. So we can go ahead and close this valve, and then get one of these little ball bearings, put it in here. So you can see this valve is closed. When I shot it earlier, it was open, and I'll show you why. So that means when I open the solenoid valve, the air from this tank is the only air that's going to be pushing the bullet. So we will still have this reserve, right? So we can fire another shot, or that's what we're hoping for. So we can fire that, and then we can go ahead and adjust it so we don't fire into the same hole, and we can go ahead and open that valve. So now, if my physics are right, this should be about half of the original. Yeah, it's about half, give or take. And then we'll just leave this valve open so we can get full power. And we can fire another shot. That was pretty loud. I don't know exactly why. Looks like it went all the way through the box. Yeah, so we fired 2 shots with only pumping it up once. So it's kind of cool. And we can go ahead and pressurize it again and see if we can get 3 shots off with only pumping it once. Pressurizing up to 150 psi. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to load one in. Let's line it up so we're not hitting the same exact spot. Let's go ahead and hit it on the corner there. And then notice if nothing's going to happen because this valve hasn't been open yet. So we can take advantage of this right here. When I open this valve, some air is released, enough to shoot the bullet. Of course, that was just a ricochet, but because we open the valve, right, we can grab another ball and then load it in. We can go ahead and close the valve. We can go ahead and fire a shot, shoot a shot, open the valve again, fully, load a shot, aim at a different spot. I think any balls are penetrated there yet. Fire a shot. That was a very weak shot, but we did get 3 shots off. 3 shots off. Okay, and we'll go ahead and grab that ball. So this is this gun. Of course, you can fire it with 2 shots or 3 shots or just 1 shot if you want to make a sniping shot. I think it's pretty cool. There will definitely be some modifications made. I'm working on trying to make it fully automatic. And I'm going to get a bigger air tank, of course. So this is the breech right now. And you may be thinking, well, this is a very interesting breech. Jono, I've never seen. I don't get exactly how that's going to work. So what I'm going to do is let's just go ahead and take this barrel out real quick. I'm going to have to set the camera down. We'll go ahead and take that barrel off. It's a bit harder than I expected. Let's go. The barrel's off now. So as you can see, here's our barrel, and this is the breech right, and it slides very gently into there. So it's a very airtight seal. It doesn't take too much pressure to push it in. So the idea is that the air pressure will push against. This is really hard to demonstrate. I need to probably draw this for you guys. But this breech, what it will do is the air pressure behind this will, of course, this will be closed with a nice little ball bearing in there, and there'll be a string attached to the ball bearing. So, and then that will be tied to probably this piece right here. So how exactly that will work is this will be pushed because there's a ball bearing in here, and that causes, and of course this side is bigger than that side, so there will be, the ball bearing will sit nicely in there, and it will cause an airtight seal. So it will move forward because they're pushing it. And what will then happen is once it reaches a certain point, when the breech will be closed. So imagine there'll be a hole right here, and there'll be a magazine, right? And so as this pushes, it'll close the I guess the gap in the barrel where the magazine will be coming out. And so, of course, I don't need to really explain to you guys how the gun works, but if you're still watching, here it is. So as this closes, this whole barrel will be sealed off. It will be sealed. And so what will happen then is, because the air is pushing against this, it'll go forward, and the string that's tied to the ball bearing inside of here will pull the ball bearing back, because as this moves forward, the ball bearing will stay in place, and this will cause the air to be allowed to flow through, and as the air is allowed to flow through, it will push out, and a ball this has been pushed from the magazine, one of these will be pushed out the barrel. So this is kind of complicated system. And then the way that'll work is, because it's pushed back because of the air going out here, and there will also likely be a spring attached to this little bolt right here, I guess screw right here. And when I say spring, I mean like more like a rubber band type of spring that pulls inside, right? And that will be hooked up around here somewhere. Now there'll be screw something in there, and that will pull it back. So this thing will go back because there's no more pressure pushing on it, because this side and this side will have equalized because of the hole and all the air escaping out the barrel. And this will move back, and by moving back, it will then it can meet up with the ball bearing attached to the spring, and so it will seal again. And because of this seal, the pressure pushing against it will be great enough to resist the spring, and it will push it again, pushing a ball bearing, let's get this right, into the barrel again, chambering it, and then the ball bearing inside here will be caught by the spring as this moves along, and so air will allow to be released. This being now sealed inside the barrel instead of in the hole will shoot out. The air will equalize because it is equal on this side and this side, the air pressure. So this will move backwards because of the spring, and then the same process will happen again and again and again. So a fully automatic system. The way this will be started is, this will of course be pressed, and as this is hold open, this process will repeat and repeat. Now, of course, a much larger air tank would be required for this process, and I'm thinking more of like an aluminum water bottle of some sort. No, that sounds kind of silly, but that's what we're thinking of. And this could be then just hooked up to, I think it would, we'd put this thing right with this, I guess, pipe fitting. We'd screw it into there, and then we'd screw the water bottle around that. And of course, that would make a seal, and then we'd drill a hole in there to put the Schrader valve into. And so you'd pressurize the whole water bottle up to 150 psi, then unhook it from the Schrader valve. You'd probably have room for about 10 shots, which is how big the magazine would be. And I think I could start making these more efficient, maybe not even requiring a solenoid valve, and just using a simple ball valve or even one of my own valves. And this whole system could be repeated, and I could start actually making these guns and making the breech instead of out of some tubing and some random hardware store parts, 3D printed or machined using a lathe. And then I could start mass producing these air-powered SMGs, and that would be the future. It'd be great. It'd be great. But anyway, bye everyone. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Remember to like and subscribe the video, and leave any suggestions for this gun in the comment section. Maybe if I should, I don't know, make a special bullet, or make the barrel longer, or anything you can think of. Bye.